Now again we are back and we are going to be discuss today the Gordon model. First of all, I cannot be forget your very valuable suggestions and your likes, your subscriptions and your love what you give me after completing my first lecture, that Walter model. With the inspiration of Walter model, today we are going to be discuss about the Gordon model. Once again, thanks, and now we are going to be start our lecture. The assumptions of Gordon model. Gordon assumptions are like the ones given by Walter. However, there are two additional assumptions proposed by him. Number one, the product of retention ratio B and the rate of return R gives us the growth rate of G. Number two, the cost of capital KE is not only constant but greater than the growth rate, that is K is greater than. Gordon model formula: P is equal to E bracket 1 minus B whole divided by KE minus BR, where P is equal to market price of the share, E is equal to earning per share, B retention ratio, or we can say that 1 minus payout ratio, R rate of return on the firm's investment, KE cost of capital, BR growth rate of the firms, that we are going to be show through G as well. Therefore, the model shows a relationship between the payout ratio, rate of return, cost of capital, and the market price of the share. So this is a combination of these four relationships. Now we are going to be discuss Gordon formula or Gordon model with the help of the case. The first one, find out the market value of share from the following information given below. Particulars and options. Same as Walter model, we are going to be choose three options: option X, option Y, option Z. Rate of return on one firm's investment is X 15%, Y 8%, and Z 10%. Cost of capital is constant, that's 10%. Earning per share is $10. Now we are going to be put these options in a situation A, B, C, and D. This based on the retention ratio, that is a B. A situation is showing the retention is 0%. It means companies are not retaining anything. The other word we can say that they are paying all money, all earnings as a dividend. Situation B, 10%. It means companies are retaining only 10%. It means 90% they are paying back as a dividend. Situation C, 30% they are retaining and 70% they are paying back as a dividend. Situation D, 60% of retaining and 40% they are paying back as a dividend. So we are choosing three options, and for situation we'll get to know that whether the same formula is going to be tell what the Walter said before. We have to be go with this case. Solution X with situation A, B, C, and D. Retention ratios, as we discussed, A, B, C, D, four situations are there. Here we are going to be calculate the retention ratio is B. B is equal to 0 in situation A. B is equal to 10% in situation B. B is equal to 30% in situation C. B is equal to 60% in situation D. And Option X, we assume R is 15% and K is 10% given us. So it means here the situation is cost of capital is lesser than rate of return, or we can say that rate of return is higher than cost of capital. We have to be put the model given by the Gordon. So first we have to be calculate the growth rate through the BR. BR is equal to 0 because B is equal to 0 multiplied with the R, we will get 0. Once we will put the value in the model, we get to know that the market price of the share is $100. In situation B, we will calculate BR. Once we'll multiply the value with B and R, we get to know that the BR value, after putting this value in our model, we get to know the dollar value 106 of share price. Then we are going for situation C. We are calculating the BR value. It is coming 0.045 and showing in the model that market value of the share is now 127. Once we are going to be retained 60%, after putting the value in the same way, we get to know that the market price of the share is $400. So once we are observing here, whenever we are going to be retain our profit, our value of share is increasing in the market. Now we are going for the option Y. Option Y here with the same situation A, B, C and D. Here we get to know that BR is equal to 0, same situation. Just we will go through that option Y. Option Y is stating us R is 8% and K is 10%. It means the situation is R is lesser than K. So here, once we are going for situation A, we get to know that still the share value is $100. Then we are going for situation B. We get to know that the dollar value of share is become down than $98 once we will write the formula given by the Gordon. Then we are going for situation C, and once we are putting the value in situation C, we get to know that the market price of the share is $92. And in the other situation where we are retaining 60% of the earning, we get to know that dollar value is declining more, only $77. So here our observation is if R is lesser than K and we are retaining, so if we will retain money in the sequence, our market value of the share will be declined. Now we are going for option Z with A, B, C and D situation. So after going for completing this option X and option Y, here in option Z situation, required rate of return and cost of capital both are equal, or we can say that R is equal to K. When we are going to be observe this situation, either A, B, C and D, it means 0% retention, 10%, 30%, 60%, we have to be checked that market price of the share is $100 in all four situations. So the conclusion is, or the observation is, retention ratio is not affecting the company's market price when R is equal to K. Our required rate of return is equal to cost of capital. Analyzing option X, option Y and option Z with situation A, B, C and D, we are coming for the conclusion. The conclusion one is, if R is greater than K, firm should be retain all earning. If R is lesser than K, firm should be pay out all earning. And if R is equal to K, firm should not be concerned, either distribute and retain. It should be based on the investor's requirements or firm's need. If you recall my first video, when we conclude the Walter model, we got the same assumptions, same conclusion. So it means we can say that either the Walter or Gordon both are presenting the relevant policy of dividend and both are getting the same conclusion. So now from the above findings, the same conclusions are emerging, which we observe in the case of Walter model. Thank you very much for listening my video, and your likes and your subscription is very valuable for me. So don't forget to subscribe my videos and like my videos. We'll continue this lecture with the next approach, that is a MM approach. Thank you being with me and best of luck for the further journey.